Keep your shirts and your skirts on as High School Stories brings you 2 more tales of twisted tomfoolery.
People were just like, what is going on? I was really amused.
First up, a school and a new sex.
This is about to be the biggest thing to ever hit St. Lucy's.
It's all next on High School Stories, scandals, pranks, and controversies.
My school is so boring.
When is something interesting gonna happen?
Give us something to talk about.
Something to talk about. Something cool.
High School Stories, scandals, pranks, and controversies.
What do you get when you cross a bunch of skirted schoolgirls with a pair of pranksters looking for trouble? A tale that takes you to a place where no guy has ever gone before. You wonder what I mean? Take a look at this.
The trouble starts in scenic Glendora, a small California town where everyone lives by the book. The good book, that is.
There are a lot of churches in Glendora. It's a pretty religious city. There's churches everywhere.
Pretty white Republican, pretty conservative.
It's no wonder, then, that there aren't many fast times going down in the halls of Glendora High, the town's only public high school.
Kids call it Glendora because there's nothing to do.
You just got to get creative with it or else you're going to get bored. That's what you make of it.
That's Nate, one of Glendora High's few wild boys and its most active master of mayhem.
Everybody knew Nate just because he was so funny and so out there and daring. He's kind of just pushing the envelope.
Nathan's always up to have a good time or do something crazy with me. We pretty much pulled a prank a week.
That's James, Nate's fellow senior, and the other half of Glendora's most infamous duo.
James, my best friend in the entire world, hetero life mate in a non-homosexual way.
Wherever I saw Nathan, I saw James.
James and Nathan were pretty much the class clowns. They just ruled the school. They did lots of crazy things that no one else would think of, like wakeboarding through school.
There was some detention involved with that.
But the threat of detention was no match for this mischief-making pair. One day after school, the guys came upon some divine inspiration for what would be their ballsiest deed to date.
We wanted to have a really good senior prank, but we couldn't think of anything good.
One day, there was a lot of St. Lucy's girls outside the ice cream shop while I was working.
And Nathan and I saw that, and we were like,
We don't have to do a prank at our school, you know? Maybe we could do it somewhere else.
we should get some uniforms and go to St. Lucy's up on the hill and sneak into class and see how long we could last.
That's the best idea I've ever heard, and we have to do it. And from there on, we just had to work out the details.
St. Lucy's is Glendora's all-girls Catholic school with an impressive reputation for academics. But it was its other reputation that appealed to our pranksters.
Most of the kids called St. Lucy's St. Juicy's.
They're St. Hoochies, actually.
Bunch of girls in skirts that go to school together all day equals hotness.
We investigated on foot, hopped the fence, traveled around the school, checked out classrooms, what building was what, checking out the girls.
We wanted to stay in school as long as we could, so everything had to be perfect in order for that to work.
We figured we needed a schedule because on the first day of the new semester, when everyone's going to their new classes, we'd have somewhere to go. We'd have this class or that class.
If we were confronted by one of the nuns, we wanted to pull out a schedule and show them that we were actual real girls enrolled at the school.
But getting a hold of St. Lucy's schedules and uniforms would require a little help.
I was at my locker one day, and Nathan and James come up to me, and they were definitely being extra nice. They were asking me if I knew anyone that went to St. Lucy's, if I could get a schedule. Then they told me about the prank.
Can you help us out?
You know anybody?
Yeah, I think I know someone that we could ask.
Sweet, dude. Yes.
I decided to ask my friend Michelle, and so she ended up calling her friend Ashley that goes to St. Lucy's, and she didn't tell her what it was for. She actually lied to her.
So I told her that I was doing a debate about public versus private education. The less information she knew, the better off she'd be. Okay, I trust you.
With the schedule secured, the guys went shopping for that perfect schoolgirl ensemble.
We were looking for some skirts, and we went to a local costume shop. They didn't have skirts that would look like the St. Lucy's uniforms.
So we just got wigs.
Nathan had long hair already, so we figured we could just get him to look like a girl with his own hair. They did have this really short wig that I could wear.
And we put on that one little wig, and it was just perfect. It was absolutely beautiful.
We'll take it.
We had the wig, but we still needed the uniforms. So we contacted Katie.
Other friends.
One afternoon, I went to Heather's house, and she gave me the uniforms. And then I went to Michelle's house and got the schedules from her that she had gotten from Ashley earlier.
So the guys had everything they needed the night before the prank. There were just 2 things left before they blossomed into beauties.
Altering the schedule wasn't too hard. We just did it on the computer, and we just had to switch the name. I changed my name from Nathan Holthauser to Natalie Holt, and James's was from James Lehigh to Jamie Lee.
The last thing we had to do was a lot of hair removal. I chose to wax my legs. I had some work cut out for me. Mom, we have hair problems.
Why do you want to wax your legs?
Harry isn't in anymore.
I didn't ask too many questions. Sure, I'll show you. Rub it really hard. And then you... There's your hair.
I showed Nathan how to wax him. Oh, God. But he chickened out.
Nah, dude, I'm not doing it.
What are you gonna do?
Shave. It wasn't that bad. It just takes a really long time.
The night before, I hardly got any sleep because I was up so late. I was so scared and nervous for tomorrow. I was really hoping we can get through the whole day. Really excited to see how it was gonna turn out.
I was just getting the game plan ready, just getting my feminisms down, practicing my woman voice. I was really excited. It's real. The biggest thing to ever hit St. Lucy's.
Coming up, see what happens when he's uninvited.
More and more students that are showing up outside the window.
Will they receive mercy or be damned?
And then it hit the fan.
When High School Stories returns.
Give us something to talk about.
Give us something to talk about.
High school stories, scandals, pranks, and controversies.
So our dudes in drag were skirted, shaved, and ready to unleash holy terror upon the halls of St. Lucy's. But God help them if they are caught with their pants off. These are nuns we're talking about here.
I didn't know what was gonna happen. I just wanted to get in there and scare everybody.
We're getting really excited, thinking, hey, this might work. You know, we're gonna go for it.
Our high-maintenance heroes headed to Katie's house bright and early to make sure they had time to get their girl on.
Nathan and James were having way too much fun being girls. It was kind of strange almost how excited they were. As I was putting on the makeup, it got heavier and heavier. It just looked more like drag queens than anything. It looked really, really bad. But I think they thought that they looked a lot better than I did.
Wow, Katie, fabulous.
The girls were ready, but Katie's work was still not done. After all, friends don't let friends drive and drag.
I was so nervous on the way to school. I was just looking at Nathan like, dude, I can't believe we're gonna do this right now. And he was like, I know. Finally, we got there. And then we look at our schedules to see what class we gotta go to, and we have no idea what it means. So we went up to a girl and we're like, do you know where period G is? She was just looking at us and just pointed over there, like, down there. And then we knew that she went to go run and tell some other girls that those are two guys wearing skirts at our school.
As news of the scandalous sighting spread across campus, the guys crept closer to their moment of truth.
James and I were pretty nervous. We're kind of shaking a little bit. We're going down the halls, getting closer to that door. It wasn't that we were afraid of getting in trouble. We just really didn't want to get caught, because then that would just end our prank. Here we go.
Our hearts are racing, and we look inside the window and see all the girls sitting in the classroom.
We were a little bit late. It's the first day of the new semester, so everyone's getting situated.
And Nathan reaches for the door.
And the door opened, and these two interesting-looking girls walked in, and we kind of looked at each other, trying to figure out what was going on.
Luckily, there were two seats right by each other, so James and I cruised over there and sat down.
People were just like, what is going on?
Maybe it was our excellent makeup work. Like, maybe they're guys, maybe they're girls.
Oh, it was totally obvious they were guys. I was really amused.
The teacher didn't react at all.
She just was still going on with her class. And obviously, it's the less attention you give it, the less satisfaction they get out of the prank.
Inside the classroom, it seemed the teacher was trying to turn the other cheek. In the hallways, however, the students were flocking to witness this sinful sight.
There were girls outside the classroom door looking in, and
Girl after girl, like, just keep looking at us and, like, cracking up laughing and then run out.
More and more students that are, like, showing up outside the window. At that point, I kind of knew that it was going to go downhill, but I was already pretty content with what was happening, and then it hit the fan.
As soon as word of the intruders had reached Sister Monica, the head nun, the boys were escorted to her office. Only they were in no mood to confess.
The walk to the office was pretty lonely, pretty scary.
Halfway down the hall, we were met by Sister Monica, and she's fuming.
Damn, we got caught, but we're not about to give up. We got to fight to the death.
So we get to her office, and there's a big crucifix above her.
Larger than life, like she's got the power of God behind her.
And she's like, you boys need to give me your IDs.
And we obviously didn't have them, and we continued on. We're like, oh, well, we just came here to get an education.
We never broke character. We kept our girl voices the whole time.
I wasn't ready to give up my prank. I wanted to keep it rolling.
Sister Monica was not amused. She hoped the police might inspire the fear in these boys that she clearly could not.
We were banking on the fact that the cops wouldn't care that much. They're just gonna be like, this is ridiculous. Like, they'll let us go.
So Sister Monica walks in with the two cops.
And as soon as she walked out, we're like, okay, we're dudes. All right, you got us.
We start telling the guy, like, look, come on, this is harmless.
That didn't work.
He was adamant about arresting us.
He got our numbers, he took all of our information down, so I thought for sure that we were gonna go to jail.
And all of a sudden, the PA system comes on.
Sister Monica gets on, she says, attention students, there are 2 boys on campus dressed as St. Lucy's girls, and they are not welcome here.
And then we hear like a crack of laughter.
Like a little low roar in the school.
Me and Nathan just high-five each other, and the cops start laughing too.
Cop says, all right, you guys' punishment is to walk back to Glendora High School in those uniforms.
Which to Nathan and I was not a big deal, obviously. So as we're walking out of the school, we hear a bunch of clamoring, and we look back and there's
a ton of girls just hooting and hollering. We felt like our mission was accomplished. That was probably the best they could have asked for.
Church and state had been merciful, but the guys quickly realized that their judgment day was far from over.
We knew Sister Monica was gonna call somebody at our school and tell them what we did. The one thing we were really worried about was not being able to walk at our graduation.
But the guys did walk the 2 miles back to Glendora High, where they ditched their skirts and tried to lay low, unsure if the police or Sister Monica had already blown up their spot.
When we got back to Glendora, we were kind of waiting on whether or not we were going to get in trouble.
We were expecting somebody to confront us about it, but
we didn't really get anything besides detention for a cut, just for not showing up to class.
We got off pretty easily with that punishment. Fortunately, that was all.
The guys served their detention for skipping class, not knowing if the school had ever caught on to the reason they had cut. But the cross-dressing duo still had their mothers to contend with.
My mom gets a phone call, so she asked me, why weren't you at school today?
And he said, well, I did go to school. I just didn't go to my school.
And I said, I went to St. Lucy's, Mom. And I told her the story.
I'm hysterical inside, and I just want to react, but I knew if I did, he wouldn't ask for forgiveness. And he did. That's my James.
Meanwhile, over at Nate's house,
my mom got a call just for the cut. And I told her the whole story, and she goes, Nathan, I think it's time I tell you that your father did the same prank when he was your age. And then she shows me a picture of my dad dressed up in his St. Lucy's outfit. I was like, whoa, really? Sweet. And I told her, hopefully my son can do it. Well, my mom's response to that was, good, that'll be your punishment.
High school is so boring.
When is something interesting gonna happen?
Give us something to talk about.
Something to talk about. Something cool.
High school stories, scandals, pranks, and controversies.